Might identify himself as gay. As a Christian, you want to have good dialogue and good relationships with friends or loved ones who are LGBTQ. Let me give you some points that I think might help you to that end. Why was I gay? Well, I've only asked myself that question a few thousand times. I did identify as gay for about 6 years in the late 70s and early 1980s. So let me tell you what I know. Let me tell you what I think, and let me tell you what I'm still not entirely sure about, okay? Let's start with what I know. Why was I gay? Well, the short answer is I was born in sin. I know that. I know that because in Genesis chapter 3, we read that after Adam and Eve had sinned, God said, in essence, okay, because of what you've done, because you've removed yourself from communion with me, because I can't have fellowship with sin, your nature has become defiled, and now the human experience is going to contain things I never meant it to contain. Let me repeat that. I think it's important. The human experience is now going to contain things I never meant it to contain. He told Adam and Eve, you're going to die. I didn't mean that to happen. You're going to decay. I didn't mean that to happen. You're going to have these weird power struggles with each other. I didn't mean that to happen. So from henceforth, he said, humanity is going to experience feelings and things that I never intended. Now, according to Romans chapters 5 through 7, all of us are sons and daughters of Adam. So we all inherited that sin nature, which sprang up after Adam and Eve had sinned. And that's why, according to John 3:16, Jesus famously said, you got to be born again. Why? Because you're born in sin. Until you're born with a new nature, you can't be in communion with God. That much I know. I also know this. Some sinful tendencies are universal, right? I mean, we can all relate to the tendency to be lazy, or the tendency to lie, or the tendency to want to punch somebody out. Those are, universal sinful tendencies. I think we all experience them. There are some sinful tendencies only experienced by a minority of people. So, for example, you read the book of Leviticus or the book of Deuteronomy, and you see prohibitions in there against certain sexual behaviors, incest, for example, or sex with children, or bestiality, and you think, wow, I certainly don't have any temptation towards that. Does anybody? Well, yeah, some people do. They're the minority, but there are some sinful tendencies experienced only by a minority of people. Homosexuality is one of them. So I know that all sinful tendencies spring from the sin nature, thereby whatever sinful tendencies a person has, he or she has, because, well, we were all born in sin. Now, that's what I know. But why did this particular sinful tendency spring up in me? Now, let me get to what I think. What I think is I was confused and I was hungry. I was confused. As a little boy, I was routinely molested by an adult male. Anytime you have molestation or abuse, among the other damages that are going to come, you're going to get confusion. I was confused. What is intimacy? What is my sexuality? What am I as a male? Why did this happen to me? I was terribly confused. In my case, I know that played into my developing sexual preferences, and I was hungry. I mean, from early in life, I felt separate from other guys. I felt like I don't belong, I don't fit in, I'm not acceptable. I was very hungry for male love, as boys are. Normal male love, fraternal love, fatherly love, male bonding. I was very hungry for that. I was confused, I was hungry, and that hunger eventually, I believe, got sexualized. It evolved from an emotional desire to a sexual desire for intimacy with men. Now, let me say this. I'm not saying that that is the reason all men who are attracted to men become attracted to men, but I know in my case that certainly played into it. I was confused and I was hungry. That's what I think. Now, I'll tell you what I don't get. Why did that hunger in me get sexualized when it didn't get sexualized in other kids who had the same problem? I mean, hey, lots of boys get sexually abused. Lots of boys don't feel they don't fit in, and yet as they develop, they never have one homosexual thought in their lives. Why me and not them? I don't know. I really don't know. That's where the nature we're born with, the personality we're born with, may come into play. I really don't believe people are born gay, but I think that some of us may have been born with susceptibility to homosexuality if other factors in life, like early environmental factors, come into play. So, I know I was born in sin. I think I was emotionally hungry, and I'm pretty sure I was also susceptible. Hey, that's the human condition, right? Human condition, human need, and human mystery, because there is still a lot of mystery to all of this. Those are three reasons why someone might become attracted to the same sex and identify as gay. So whenever I'm asked, why do you think people are gay? I like to point out, look, we don't always understand why we feel what we feel. We really don't. But here's what we know. We know we have a creator. We know our creator created us with intentions. We know that those intentions have been spelled out in a divinely inspired document, the Bible, which has stood the test of time as a reliable source. And we know that when people live their lives within the parameters of our Creator's intentions, including the parameters of marriage as a male-female permanent covenant union, we know when people live within those parameters, their lives work well. When they don't, their lives are not what they're meant to be. That much I know. Now that leads to a second question. Why was I proud? Because I was, as a gay man, very proud. Well, I'd like to talk to you about that next week. Hey, thanks for taking a few minutes with me. God bless.